Hello everyone, I'm Austin Lindsey, SMTV Sports Director, and today I'm here with the assistant professor of sports management in the School of Marketing, Dr. Chris Croft.
Austin, thanks for allowing me to be here today.
Yes, sir. Dr. Croft, as you know, you've previously been on the show, and it was a great time having you on last November. And as we discussed Southern Miss football and just Southern Miss athletics, moving on from Conference USA to the Sun Belt. And it appeared that this would take effect in July of 2023. But as of recent news, Southern Miss, Old Dominion, and Marshall are looking to jump ship to the Sun Belt early. Could you just give the viewers an overview of what's transpired in these past few weeks?
Sure. Obviously, crazy times. Austin in college athletics, going back to Texas and Oklahoma leaving the Big 12, created the domino. You had the 6 other Conference USA teams join American Athletic Conference, and then obviously us, Marshall and Old Dominion, joined the Sun Belt. Conference USA added some additional teams too, and so that was out in the fall, public knowledge, everybody knows what's going on, but now you have to have a plan of when everything kind of starts. And so obviously Southern Miss, Old Dominion, and Marshall said they informed Conference USA that they would leave before the next 23-24 deal. There are bylaws in Conference USA saying that you have to inform them 14 months before leaving. Obviously, there's some financial considerations. You're going to lose 2 years of payouts from leaving and all that. But Conference USA has said basically we're counting all 3 of you next year. They coincidentally released a football schedule last week, and Southern Miss, Marshall, and Old Dominion are included on that. So now you got kind of a rift kind of going, to say the least, and you have attorneys for all 3 schools in Conference USA involved.
Yeah, this could definitely be a messy situation, just starting from just that Conference USA releasing the schedule and as to now. But kind of, you talked about the build-up right there, but what could be some of the repercussions if this has to go through a legal battle?
Well, obviously, anytime you get the lawyers involved, they're going to have teams. You're looking at different things. Obviously, Conference USA offices in Texas. So the next debate is kind of where does it go to court? Is it going to be state courts or within each state, federal court? How that's going to pan out. Everybody's attorneys are working around the clock, and you're going to have to get some answers resolved sooner than later. But in the meantime, you got legal costs mounting. You got a lot of things that are just on hold right now, from knowing who we're going to play the 5th game afterwards. Football operations coordinators can't plan team travel. Marketing people can't know who's coming when. Players' parents can't schedule to go to see games. So you have all these uncertainties that you just don't know what's going on. And depending how it goes, if we stay, obviously our fans are going to be upset. If we leave, those other teams are going to have to try to find replacement games in conference now. And that's going to be very, very hard to find in football at the last minute.
That is correct. Speaking on just if Southern Miss, Old Dominion, and Marshall leave, what kind of will Conference USA more than likely do? Will they go with a division schedule as usual with 6 teams per so in the West, or 5 teams in the East?
Right.
How kind of will that kind of just transpire right there? Will it be an 11-team conference, or will they try to bring in some of the other schools like Sam Houston or?
Right. That's a great question, Austin. And obviously, if the 3 teams were to leave, including us, if they could go to New Mexico State, Jacksonville State, Sam Houston, and bring some of those teams in, can they do that? New Mexico State, ironically, is independent, and so, but they have games scheduled already contractually wise as well.
Yes.
So you need to fill those. Obviously, huge situation. We're the only team in the West. Both Marshall and Old Dominion are in the East. And so, say Charlotte could lose 2 games in that situation. So you got a lot of things mounting. Normally in football, you have the 2 divisions to meet to the championship game, and kind of how that is. So if you went to 11 and just played, you'd have to get some permissions from the NCAA to move forward on your conference championship game. But then regardless, you're going to have to shuffle a lot of those games around too. And so you could have some people playing an odd number of home or away games, and so that's going to affect some different situations as well.
It definitely will. It's a huge shakeup. But just going back to just the bylaws that you talked about with Conference USA, and you covered just 14 months, just some of the issues right there. You have to have a notice of 14 months that you're leaving the conference and have and pay that revenue distribution over those 2 years, which is approximately $1.5 million. Could you just kind of discuss, and just going back to Sports Illustrated in an article by Ross Dillinger, experts have stated simply that these notices have no penalty. And this is kind of what, these other schools, they call them the Sun Belt 3 right now, the SB3, kind of worked around this. Is this what led Southern Miss and these schools to this decision? Now, it's simply no penalty here.
Well, that's something that obviously the bylaws were not written with a penalty, so let's bring it back to speeding. You see the speed limit sign, but if there's no fines for speeding, then you're probably going to have more people speeding as well. So that's how it was written. The 14 months was put in there to give conferences time to make planning on schedules, all the different things. We think of football because that's a premier revenue sport, but you also have volleyball, you have soccer playing in the fall. You have to plan those different things out. So lots of things to be cited. Obviously, it got out. Conference USA went ahead and released a football schedule, which was interesting after Southern Miss and Marshall and Old Dominion had said we are leaving effective July 1st of 2023. The Sun Belt Conference, one thing Austin hasn't commented because they need to be careful for legal purposes.
Correct.
And supposedly they're planning on announcing their schedule here at the beginning of next month. So basically you could have Southern Miss with 2 football schedules, trying to figure out who we're playing when. Lots of things from scouting, from travel, for fans that are up in the air. And we're going to have to see how this plays out in court because it doesn't appear that Conference USA is going to back down.
Correct. And it doesn't appear these other 3 schools are appearing to back down either. And potentially with the legal battle here, could we see the NCAA maybe step in to kind of nullify this situation, or could we see a third party, just a third party come in to resolve this issue before it goes before a court and it's, could get really, messy right there?
That's an interesting take on the NCAA. Obviously, they're over the all the intercollegiate athletics, but the conferences choose membership there. The schools choose membership in there. I don't know if they want to get into the legal battle because they're involved. It'll be interesting to see, obviously, both sides of attorneys working around, but if Conference USA went and filed different injunctions and said it couldn't happen or prohibit, it'll be interesting to see how that affects different things. And then obviously when the Sun Belt Conference schedule comes out, obviously the Conference USA is going to use that the Sun Belt Conference probably encouraged those 3 members to leave early and also have damaged our conference. So you got a lot of factors there that over my pay grade as far as attorneys and different things there, but you have a lot of people working around the clock right now.
That is correct, and I think that's all we have for today. As always, just a great time to have you on, Dr. Croft. This has been Austin Lindsey with the Assistant Professor of Sports Management, Dr. Christopher Croft. Have a good one, folks.